There we go. He's got it down. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You know what happened in the past 2 months? This guy went to... Where was it? Ontario.
Yeah.
I went to PAX. It has been content devoided month.
Yeah, vacations and stuff.
I gotta rephrase that. Content deprivation month here at Uncut Salt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's nice and professional.
Yes. What are we playing today? We were playing the masterpiece that is Gone Home.
Is it a masterpiece?
The walking simulator for the ages. It's an emergent...
the spiritual successor to Lord of the Rings, I guess, yeah?
Yes. A lot of people call it that derisively. I don't tend to actually agree with that. Yeah, walking simulator.
As long as the walking's interesting, right?
Yeah. DRS, to a lot of people, they like to call it a walking simulator because they're like, all you do is press W. Oh, there's a bit more to it than that.
Yeah, you gotta move the mouse back and forth. I mean, seriously.
Oh my god.
Fucking Philistines, eh?
Yeah.
The nerve of some of these people.
So...
With their opinions and whatnot.
Okay, this is part of the emergent exploration genre that I hinted at in the Journey video that we did a while back.
And I have to... I don't think I've ever actually said this officially, but I do like that sort of genre, that idea that you have about emergent exploration. I think it's a good idea. I think, you know, I think it's going to become more apparent to lots of people once these things start getting more and more popular.
Yeah, I'm actually producing a documentary on the genre, yes. This playthrough that we're going to be doing right now, and you can hear the dialogue. Sorry if we're talking over it, my friends and viewers, but I really want to avoid as much as possible the copyright ban hammer. Yeah. Is the volume too loud for you to concentrate?
No, it's good. I just really...
Okay.
Things like this. It's good. It's all good.
So, Gone Home is part of the genre in lots of subtle ways beyond just the first-person exploration perspective. It also takes place from the view of someone who is finding out about her sister and her motives for disappearing from a house. It's Gone Home.
Interesting.
Yes. You play as Katie Greenbrier, I believe, and the duotagonist is Sam Greenbrier, whose motivations you slowly uncover as you explore the house. And this is, you can see the frame rate jittering around here.
Yeah.
This game actually taxes all but the most powerful systems.
Really?
Yes. Because
it's not optimized, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
So I actually had to fiddle with the options here to make sure everything was going correctly.
Alright.
But it's okay, because I don't hold that too much against games, because my Mac is actually the one I use to record this. Is actually pretty... I would call it mid-low.
Yeah, well, it's older too, right?
Yeah.
Those old Macs are pretty reliable. They stick around for quite a bit.
Yeah, my Macs are still going strong. Hopefully they don't crap out on me in the next year and force me to eat my words and spend money.
Yeah, like I spent money on my Alienware and that was dead within 2 years. So to anyone listening to this, if you're thinking of buying an Alienware, just don't.
No kidding. I shall grab my instant coffee.
Yeah, don't do it.
And I shall grab the Christmas duck in the video as well. This is actually kind of like a beloved item in the game. Apparently a community...
Oh, is it like the Half-Life gnome and shit?
Yeah.
Take the duck through the game?
Yeah.
Good old Christmas duck.
I come back to it every once in a while, and here you can see Sam Greenbrier's first note to her sister.
Yeah. It's funny looking at the texture fidelity of the paper next to...
Yeah, actually, the reason this taxes the systems, and the developer stated this, the reason why this taxes so many systems is because the textures themselves are actually higher fidelity than other games that play at 720p.
Yeah.
So they actually have a lot more going into them.
Yeah,
a lot of them, so.
There's a technique that they use. I can't remember the specific name for it. I've just been out of games for too long, I guess. Oh, dialogue.
Yep.
Okay. So like basically the idea is that at any given point you have a fixed resolution that you're working on, right? So you have a game that's optimized for 720p. What that's gonna mean is that no texture.
Oh, you just magnified the sound. I'll just turn the volume down.
Okay, sorry, my bad. Basically, okay. I ramble too much. I need to get into the swing of things here. Okay. When you're making a texture, you have to keep in mind also the size of the object you're applying the texture to, and if at no point it reaches a certain, I guess, fidelity on your game, then that's kind of how they decide how big of a texture is going on a certain model. So it goes by 256, 512, 1024.
Okay, so the dimensions of the object in question that are being textured have to be factored.
Yeah, a 1024 texture would go on a character who's going to be close to the screen, and you'd see, that note, for instance.
Yeah.
You're going to have to look closely at the note, and I guess because it wasn't done through an in-game menu, you actually read it while it's hanging on the door.
Mm-hmm.
That requires that texture to be like super sharp. Same with these IDs, because you're searching around, you're reading things.
Yeah, there's a lot of textures in this game that are suspect, but the vast majority of stuff is a lot. It looks like a lot of models in the environment that are huge.
Yeah, lots of assets for sure. I don't know why their texture fidelity would be a problem. Why
and here's me discovering the zoom function.
I don't know why it would tax like high-end rigs. That doesn't really make sense to me.
Well,
the texture fidelity, honestly.
The developer was like saying this requires a high maintenance computer, and he was stating his reason why is because the texture quality is actually very, very high. So I don't.
Right, for a 720 game, that's what they said, right?
For all, not just 720. I was generalizing for the resolution that I recorded this footage at. So.
Right.
What I meant to say, if you notice that I'm slowly taking the time to set up a shot and just move forward without moving the camera at all, that's me actually setting up cinematic shots for the documentary. Because I have a couple of concepts in mind.
The field of vision looks very, very Doom-esque, eh?
It's actually as wide as I could possibly put it.
Yeah, it's very wide. You can see lots of stretching and stuff on the sides when you walk by something. Like the perspective just goes crazy.
It wasn't too much of an issue I noticed it.
I really noticed it with the deck chairs. It was like,
yeah.
I don't know. I've always been really weird about. It always looked really weird to me. I never understood why you couldn't have more of a panoramic shot rather than one that's stretched out at the sides. But reasons I suppose.
That PC is getting louder. Is there a reason for that?
It does that.
Okay.
If it's too loud, I can turn it off.
It's up to you.
Okay.
It's totally up to you.
Yeah, it should be fine.
So this game, the object of the game is to explore the house, look at items, find items, look at them, explore the entire house, search for details and clues. It does this basically through this first-person interface entirely. Your interactions with the environment are entirely simplified down to just looking at objects and examining them. There are some light puzzles. I say that in quotation marks because basically it's just you find a combination of the same, basically.
How long is this game?
This video goes on for an hour and 48 minutes.
Do you finish it?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it's just a quick...
Yeah, apparently you can beat it in 57 seconds. Someone actually speed ran it.
Nice. Oh man, I've been watching speedruns lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're super entertaining, man. I love them.
But
I love watching that shit.
A lot of people have been holding that against the game. It's like, well, technically you can complete Halo in less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
Do you hold that against that game?
You can be Bleh. Oh my god.
The speedruns I've seen...
my coffee. You could be Ocarina of Time in 18 minutes.
Yeah.
If you're Cosmo, apparently. I mean, that dude is the best speedrunner for that game.
I don't hold speedruns against games.
No, that's ridiculous. But
if someone is going to hold the fact that you can beat a game in less than a minute against it, it's like...
Is it because the solution is out there in the open, like as soon as you start the game?
No, not if you're unknowledgeable about the game. It doesn't tell you that the solution is right there in front of you. I won't reveal the solution now because I want you to see the solution because you haven't heard of this game.
Because if it's something that you can just kind of access just by knowledge or something like that, I mean, it depends on how they set it up. So it can go either way here, I can see. But, I mean, if it's there for you to beat as soon as you start the game and, you have to work your way logically to figuring it out, then, I mean, that's good. That's good design.
That's good game design. It's like...
Because it still requires you to play through the game. Like, so what? You can start the game on fucking a second file and beat it in 15 minutes. It's like, well, I don't really...
That doesn't really say anything about the mechanics of the game.
I don't understand why that detracts from the game. And why is that phone so big?
The game takes place in the mid-90s.
Okay.
So that's why. Yeah, that phone is remarkably huge. I think were early phones in the 90s that big? Like cell phones?
Okay, they were bricks, but they weren't cinder blocks. I don't know. It's because it's right next to that really small answering machine.
Yeah. Maybe it's that perspective skewering you or stretching you.
No, because you can see the size of the lamp, too.
Actually, now that you pointed that out, I do notice that you can see the perspective of the dresser is kind of weird and wonky.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be too much of an issue for the documentary that I'm producing.
I'm just like a stickler for game visuals.
Are you craning your neck? You should probably back up.
No, I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm okay.
I don't want you falling on me.
Posture, it's good.
Okay.
It's good.
And there's one of the few images of Sam Greenbrier in the game. She's the one in the plaid shirt.
Is that you?
No. Katie, the one in the back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You're Katie.
Okay.
Just so you know, you're a woman. How do you feel?
It's fine.
See? Exactly, everyone.
Yeah, no, it's no big deal. It's not defining the...
So,
whatever.
This episode of this Let's Play and Discuss serves three purposes right now.
Yeah.
One, the LPAD. Two, it's part of the Emergent Exploration Let's Play series I'm doing. It's just to show the viewers what games I played and what my footage consisted of. Mm-hmm. And three, discussion of current game topics, maybe, if we run out of topics to talk about this game during the video. So, if you don't want to discuss contentious issues, I suggest you come up with topics, Brandon.
Why don't we start with the LPAD? Why don't you describe that to our viewers and explain exactly what that is?
Let's play
just in case they're not
up to speed.
Yeah, up to speed.
Okay. Let's Play and Discuss basically is a series where we let's play a game and discuss it.
Okay.
But with an emphasis on critical analysis more so than what PewDiePie would do and just jump scares and shit and laughing at shit, right?
Is that what he does? I've actually never watched one of his videos.
That's a lot of his content.
Okay.
I don't hold it against him.
No, the guy runs.
He's
the guy runs an empire. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, the guy has done amazing work for video games, and he's actually starting a channel, a content creator channel of his own, I believe.
I heard he's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you're gonna hold success against someone, it's like just don't. It's like
just don't. If you do, just don't.
No. It's like I find it asinine. People are saying like I hate PewDiePie. Why? Because he's so freaking popular. And it's like, well, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's.
How do you argue with someone like that?
I don't know.
But what we do with this is we trend more towards thoughtful topics, mostly related to the game.
Going on game design. Well, it's basically like a blog or a vlog. Vlog.
I also do this partially to rescue this man's sanity.
Podcast of some sort.
Come in.
Are you guys recording?
Yes. Sorry, it's okay. It's okay. You can come in and join.
Cool.
Yes, we're playing a walking simulator.
Oh, cool.
Well, it looks like a snooping simulator to me right now.
Yeah, the weird thing about this game, and it's a fair criticism of this game, is that everyone who's played this...
Did you see that lamp?
That lamp was glorious.
See, that's the lamp I was telling you about the other day.
Yeah?
A lamp like that.
A lamp like that. That sounds like
library.
A song by Weird Al Yankovic. Anyways, one of the criticisms about this game is that one of the weird things you will notice, too, if you're watching this video closely enough, everything important to the plot is scattered around willy-nilly of this house.
Yeah.
So it's only stuff basically that's important to the plot.
Oh, right. You won't find any just used tissues or shit like that. It's all
well, you will find that stuff, but you'll find more stuff like this that builds characters and is related to the plot of the game.
Right.
I can see where people would have issues with that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, aren't you trying to build a world for people to be immersed in? But at the same time, there's also the matter of efficiency in plots, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you gotta find the balance between making it a game and making it a whatever immersion...
real world simulator.
Whatever
right?
immersive experience you want it to be, right?
Yeah. So here we get some background and insight into the father of the two daughters. I forget his name, but he is a guy who got big writing conspiracy theory novels. So this is me examining some of his conspiracy theories and stuff. I don't know if he actually believes in his conspiracies, but I think the game heavily implies that he does. Now, this serves almost nothing to the main point of the plot, which is the love story between Sam and another character.
Yeah.
Spoiler. But it does help build character.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point of character building. Is a lot of the shit that you have to do is like, you know.
Yeah.
Fluff. It's not fluff, but you know, it's structure. You can't build a character off only the important stuff, because then you get all sorts of problems and you have to end
plot
up falling.
holes and motivation holes and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Emergent exploration. I've been digging into it a lot more recently. There's a game I played called Jazzpunk, which basically has lots of mini games, right? So you would think, oh, that's just an adventure game then. However, those mini games, the mechanics they present, aren't persistent throughout the whole game, like the mechanic of just interacting with stuff simply is in this game. So, and when I talk about persistence, I'm like first-person shooter. You shoot and you kill things. That's persistent throughout the whole game. You define it by that.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 3 has a mini game where you go around hunting the apes from Ape Escape. You wouldn't describe it as an Ape Escape game,
It's
though.
just weird. No, well, it's kind of like BioShock, where there was just pipe dream suddenly.
Yeah, you wouldn't describe BioShock as a hacking game.
No, it's not. That's not even a hacking game. That's the thing. That resembles nothing like any other hack. It's pipe dream. It's literally it's like, it would be like if you were trying to hack one of the vending machines and suddenly you're playing checkers. Like it's that. It's weird. That's what I always thought. It was weird, man.
King me. Fuck.
Yeah.
That would make that game immensely frustrating.
Yeah. Did you know checkers has been solved? Have you heard? Did you know that?
Checkers has been solved.
Yeah, it's not like a recent thing, but I think it's like an interesting little factoid.
Computerized?
Well, they have
Solved
solved it in the same way where when you're a kid you solve tic-tac-toe, where you learn that if you go first and you go here, you either win 100% of the time or you tie because your opponent can't beat you.
Mm-hmm.
Checkers has been solved.
Wow, that is interesting.
Yeah. Saying that chess will be solved?
Yeah, they're thinking that they're building computers that are trying to solve chess, but it's a different
I like the
game
detail
entirely.
in this game, by the way, just like, you know, the
All the
stains on
junk.
the pizza.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
just
It
the
is, yeah.
handwriting
There are a
is
lot of
really
nice
detailed.
little assets. Lots of
Are you
stuff.
leaving
Take
this now?
Cleaning.
All right.
She loves to clean. She would hate this house. She would hate this
I would
house.
clean that house.
Yes. I would clean the shit out of that house.
For those who don't know, that was the
elusive Ashley.
yeah.
She
the
comes and
elusive
she
Ashley.
goes, only offering hints of wisdom, and then she disappears as fast as she came in.
VHS tapes scattered all around the place.
Yeah,
This is so 90s.
So 90s. You know what I like about this? It's not 90s. You know, like internet 90s. It's just, you know, typical 90s. It's good.
Mhm.
It's all right.
Yeah,
It's cool.
you can see I'm reading some of the titles there of the
Yeah.
VHS movies.
Yeah.
An interesting factoid relating to your Checkers Has Been Solved speech, and she's back.
Am I allowed to say this stuff on the cast?
What?
Well, I came in here to teach you how to clean a cat box properly, but you were recording, so I didn't say anything. I go back, the pooper scooper's still in there, Beta's shitting right on top of it.
She's usually dressed.
So I'm like, fuck you, Beta.
Hey, this is unprofessional and inappropriate.
It's okay, the magic of editing.
Sorry, guys.
It's okay. It's okay. You can entirely come in and complain about a messy situation. Because look at that pizza box. That is messy. There's a pillow fort right next to it. That's
Such
messy.
good detail. Such good detail.
An interesting factoid.
Yeah.
Science is still unsure of how exactly you win solitaire.
What do you mean?
Solitaire. You know that
What do you
game.
mean science?
Every play. They've tried to figure out exactly the winning strategy for solitaire, and
Oh,
they
they
cannot
haven't solved
figure
it?
it out.
Yeah, well, it's mostly just because it's like, I don't know. It's a weird game. I never liked Solitaire. I always thought it was bullshit. It's
Bullshit.
a game. It's a game you play with yourself and you can't even win.
Ooh.
Like
What's
most of
happening
the
on
time.
screen? This
Oh.
brings up an interesting point. A lot of people, for some odd reason, held it against the game that this game set me up to expect a horror game. Through the atmosphere, I felt ripped off. Yeah, because it's a lot of
Because of
incidental
the one
details.
book?
Because it's a big, vast, empty house. They're
Oh,
expecting
and
it to be
it's
a horror game, right?
I didn't
apparently
get
a lot of
feeling from
people
this at all.
apparently a lot of people felt duped by that, and they
Okay.
held it against this game. It's like I was expecting a horror game. Why is this game not having horror?
Okay,
I didn't feel that at all. From what
I don't
I've
know.
seen.
Personally, I don't know. I got mixed feelings on that. I would have to say, I personally disagree with holding a game against your preconceived notions, whatever they may be.
Yeah.
But also, you really do have to consider how much of an impact that those preconceived sort of I guess hype.
It's the this is
how
the
much
difference
preconceived
though.
hype
This is the difference though
it
between
factors in a
this
lot,
game
like-
and Alien Colonial Marines.
Well, yeah. Well, that was purposefully.
That was purposefully
that was
misleading.
misleading on purpose.
Whereas
yeah.
this was only.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I've seen something marketing for this, and
Yeah.
it isn't purposely misleading at
Yeah,
all. It's just
but,
showing some of the
okay,
atmosphere of the house.
Here's another take on it, and this is a little bit more of a subtle and typical take.
Yeah.
What if someone is looking forward to a sequel of a game and it's not what they expect? Are they allowed to be disappointed at that, even though the game itself might be fine in its own merits?
That is a fair point, and I know what game you're thinking of when you say that.
Which one?
Mass Effect 3.
No, I liked Mass Effect 3. Screw you. I was thinking of Paper Mario Sticker Star.
Oh.
I'm fucking pissed off at that game. Fuck that game.
Okay,
That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
It does bring up a valid point,
Yeah.
but I think we should save that for a discussion of a sequel game.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, just as a hypothetical, that's kind of where I'm going.
Moonraker!
Moonraker?
I think he's attempting re-entry, sir. As the best line in all of James Bondom, I will not hear no ill words against it.
Yeah.
What is your favorite James Bond movie? Have you seen any of them?
I don't know. I'm not like a big, huge
Casino
James
Royale.
Bond fan.
You just like it because it's new.
It's the only one I've seen.
No, that would be Skyfall. She would like Skyfall.
Actually, one of my favorite James Bond game, and I know this is unrelated, sort of, but actually James Bond comes into this game in a very kind of like oblique kind of way due to the conspiracy theories and stuff.
Yeah.
Because the books that the father writes, and yeah, you're hearing some punk music, and here's me headbanging.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. I thought it was
fun.
a nice touch.
Yeah. Gotta have your own fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually hate every single one of the songs that appears on these tapes, but I understand the artistic sentiment behind their placement within the game.
Yeah.
It's okay to hate an element of a game and observe the critical reason for it being there, you know?
Right.
That's one point of criticism I want to bring. What was I talking about before I got into the headbang spiel?
You were talking about people who were disappointed with this game?
No. After that.
After that.
Right before the headbanging stuff.
Oh, God.
Do you remember?
It's on the tip of my tongue.
I wasn't listening.
Not Paper Mario.
No.
It was something else.
You said
James Bond. James Bond.
Yeah,
Bond.
James
That's
Bond,
what it was.
right.
From Russia with Love.
Yeah?
It's my favorite. A lot of people say Goldfinger, but the reason From Russia with Love is my favorite of the James Bond series is because it's one of the few that actually feels like a spy movie.
Yeah.
Like an actual
That's-
spy movie.
that's what
It has
I
a
heard
lot of
was-
Cold War intrigue and stuff.
That's kind of what I heard was good about Skyfall, is that it kind of took a step back from just like action chases, explosions to like.
Who told
Okay.
you that?
No. Well, for the most part, like let's say Casino Royale, like it didn't have much like spy-ish stuff. There was a few spy-ish stuff, and then Quantum of Solace was even less spy-ish.
It was
You know what I
more.
mean?
It was
It's
more
just-
like
yeah.
political intrigue, James
Okay.
Bond edition.
I'm probably not a good person to have an opinion on it because I haven't seen.
Actually, let's call it James Bond kills BP.
Okay,
Okay.
Quantum
Well-
of Solace.
No, yeah. It was a horrible movie. No one should love that. Anyways.
Apparently, it's better if you watch Casino Royale right before it or right after. I can't remember.
Well, one could say that of almost anything.
No.
The Two Towers is better if you watch Fellowship of the Ring
Well-
right before you watch it.
Maybe that's true, but I mean, some things could be worse.
I guess.
I don't know.
I don't know. So here I am exploring this room. Now, half of this house is locked off until you explore and you find the key. For
Okay.
You can still beat the game in 57 seconds without exploring the rest of the house. Oddly enough.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Well,
were
it's,
saying. Yeah.
It's about the journey rather than...
Run any game.
Almost.
Almost. It depends.
I mean, like, if you can do it fast, you can speedrun it. Some games are like solidly built, and it takes a bit of a marathon. Like,
Fire Emblem.
Yeah, like an RPG like that. It's not like you could speedrun it, but you're not going to do it in either. Like you're not going to do it in one sitting, or you're not going to do it.
I think the more simple the end game objective relates to the whether you can speed run a game or not.
Sorta. It has a lot to do with just if you can sequence break or if you can do any like large big skips.
That PC
Let's say
is
boss skips. Maybe like for instance in Zelda, dungeon skips or Metroid. You can get the items out of order.
You can sleep that PC, right?
Yeah.
Can you sleep it?
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna hear some clicking on the mic.
It's okay, people. It's
That's
okay.
right.
We are doing this for you, so you can enjoy without fan noise. I know how much fan noise we had in the Octodad video. You were there, weren't you? No, you weren't.
I don't think I was.
No.
No.
No, you were in the South Park video. There was a lot of fan
Yeah.
or train noise in that too.
Yeah.
Does that actually do anything to it?
Maybe. It might take a while for the fan to go away.
Okay.
So I don't know what the name of this game
It's
is.
called Gone Home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, the title of this game relates to an emotional state more than the fact that it's taking place in a house.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
What did you find? Did you play the entire game?
Oh yeah, it's a less than 2 hour game. A lot of people hold that against it too. Like it's $20 for a 2 hour game, and a lot of people are like, no, this isn't worth it. And I'm like, okay, fair criticism, but at the same time, what are you really saying there? Because people spend more than $30 on movies that are like 90 minutes,
Yeah.
but it's like, oh, but we get special features, not all the time. And you only really see the movie like maybe once or twice when you own
people care about special features when there's YouTube?
it. Yeah, no
I
kidding.
wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, YouTube exists.
It's like early 2000s all over again.
Yeah, no kidding. So
Whoa, commentary. Oh god, let's watch the movie with someone else talking over it the whole time.
Oh yeah.
I rarely ever watch commentaries unless it's actors I really, really admire.
A lot of commentaries basically are like the most boring kind of let's
Yeah.
play imaginable. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, the weather was good that day when we were shooting.
And here we are rustling through things in Gone Home.
I really
No.
love director commentaries where they're like, okay, the reason why we shot this scene this way is because I wanted to make a statement on themes and something. I like that sort of thing. It may seem crazy.
I don't know. I like Easter egg stuff.
Actually, one of my favorite applications of extra features in a movie was Die Another Day's implementation of special features, because what they did, instead of just a straight up flat out commentary over the entire thing, they had basically you would watch the movie and then during the movie little sidebars would pop up and they would lead you to featurettes if you pressed a certain button.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was an interesting way of doing things and integrating the special features into the experience of the movie. Not that the movie holds up. I still think that had the best theme song of any James Bond movie, but the rest of the movie really doesn't hold up. Anyways, back to this. There's vodka.
Where?
It's on the left.
Oh. Okay.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Vodka.
Well then.
Well then.
It's like awkward silence the game.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time examining some items in this game. Some of that is because I need to capture footage for the documentary that I'm producing. And the other half of it is I was actually legitimately interested in reading some of the stuff going on.
Right.
I was trying to figure out a way to see if you could actually pour the vodka. It was like,
That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah,
That's the answer to the game.
I remember a link you sent me, Unreal Engine for lighting.
Yeah, it's cool, eh?
When I was playing through this game, I was almost imagining what would happen if that lighting engine was implemented in this game.
Well, if you look at a lot of stuff here, you can definitely see it on some repeated assets. The lighting is baked on, for the most part. The most lighting really has to affect is, see that lamp right there, where it's basically they stick an invisible orb inside. If you had looked up at that wall lamp, for instance, like those sort of like the dippy sort of like what would you call it? The little parabola-shaped light
Yeah.
is most likely
Baked on.
to the texture, and when you turn on the lamp, it switches textures.
Whoa, man.
Yeah.
It's baked.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you can see it on the floor. It's like it's really flat. Just the lighting doesn't really affect anything.
Huh. So it's not dynamic lighting.
No, it's not dynamic at all. It's as efficient as they could possibly get it. And basically they use a lot of cheats. And they do use a lot of cheats in the new Unreal 4 engine. Don't make it sound like they don't, but there is a lot more going on. Light now will carry color. Like, I'm not talking about you can just make a red light red and everything else turns red. I mean, like, you can shine a light next to a reflective surface, and that reflective surface will reflect its basic texture color onto an object that's next to it. Right? So it's like really, like, see the ceiling right there?
Yeah.
Red wallpaper, and it's a white ceiling, and
it will reflect red onto
the
white.
wallpaper would reflect, or the lamp rather would reflect the light from the wall onto the ceiling, and you would actually be able to see a very slight hint of red on the
For those who
ceiling.
don't know, what we're talking about is he sent me a link a little while ago, which basically said that the new Unreal Engine 4 had this new lighting technique that would make stuff look super realistic.
Global illumination is what it's called.
And I saw the videos. It was actually pretty impressive. I looked at the textures as close as I could and found that, they weren't top notch, but the lighting made them look amazing.
It's materials and it's lighting. Like you can get away with a lot with just basic materials, like flat materials.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, if you look around, just your basic everyday home or room or something like
setting
that.
up a cinematic shot.
Yeah, there aren't like a lot of really complex like textures. Like a lot of like like not plastic tables, but like that sort of poly whateverine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just like your computer, like that sort of matte black surface, walls and shit. Like they have slight textures, but most of it it looks real because of lighting and because of materials, and different materials reflect different amounts of light. They reflect them at different ways. There's light scatter, there's translucency, there's all this stuff.
Oh, and you see a little graphical fuck up here, and I actually was convinced for the longest time that there was a secret room hidden behind there. The wall was actually flickering out.
I would have thought that there was something.
Yeah, I know. I actually.
That would have been a fun thing to have in the game.
A secret.
Yeah. There actually are some secrets like that in this game. Actually,
bookcase.
It's actually
cool.
kind of neat. It actually plays into the haunted house aspect that a lot of people were duped into, right?
Yeah.
But
so did they advertise it and make it seem like it was a haunted house?
No.
No, they didn't.
I believe.
How did people get duped into it?
Because
the atmosphere, I can understand almost seeing. Oh, there's supposed to be ghosts and stuff.
Yeah, this is very similar to a lot of atmospheric horror games where it's just you alone in kind of like a dark house and you're searching through things. Like it's kind of like it's almost a stereotype of a lot of just like atmospheric horror games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's kind of like expected. It's just a trigger, but that actually raises an interesting question I just thought of.
Yeah.
If a game wasn't classified as horror, but it still kind of like makes an effort to spook you out a little bit.
Was that a secret you just found?
No. Yes, sort of. You're supposed to find these things. Like I just happened to remember that there was a panel you could remove.
Okay, so let's say you have a game like this, right?
Yep.
And it intentionally does spook you, just a little bit though, right? But it's not the main theme of the game. Like, would that be, would that be misleading? Would it be like combining genres? Would it just be a narrative element? Like, how would that...
Okay, so you don't know about this game, but there actually is sort of like a ghostly element to it, because the Sam Greenbrier and her... I forget her name. Damn it! She's so central to the story, and I forgot her name.
Yeah,
but they do have this little like extra little theme where a former owner of the house contacts them through a Ouija board. There is some ghostly element here, but I think it's just played as a metaphor.
Part of the story, maybe.
Yeah.
Because you would see something like that, and I could see where the confusion comes up, because if someone wanted to add like they have a story to tell, obviously, to make this game, right? So if that
Here's
story...
me looking for the secret book to try and open up the secret passage too.
If that story has horror elements to it, but it is not a horror story. Like I would think that's actually hard to do for a game, because people would say, oh, you know, oh yeah, I played that game, it's not even scary. It's like, well, it's not a horror game, sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like people tend to really clamp down on genres in that sort of way, where you can't really add something to a game without people then taking that label and saying, oh, you know, it's a platformer / shooter / RPG / it's like, well, if it just has trace elements of something, it doesn't necessarily have to be that genre.
Yeah, which is what the emergent exploration genre kind of like pertains to. Yeah. I'm trying to keep it as broad as possible, yet specific as possible when I try and define this. This is why jazz punk is causing me a bit of conniptions, because it has a lot of elements of adventure games.
Right.
It's like the old school point-and-click adventure games had lots of mini games and stuff. But those games had a different point for them. The point of those games was to solve puzzles and go through the game, right?
Right.
The point of jazz punk is to just make your way. There are some puzzles you do need to solve, I'll grant them that. But the mechanics to solve those puzzles are so disparate and they're so messy and so spread out that because they're not persistent, jazz punk has all the rest of the hallmarks of this genre. It is the outlier, but it is part of the emerging exploration
It's
genre.
just a bit scatterbrained or something.
Yeah. I actually am finishing up the Let's Play series of that on this channel as we speak, so you can search up the videos, viewers. But man, this game is controversial.
Why is it controversial?
So, viewers, the past 2 months have been chaotic, and this game has been part of the discussion in some small way. Last year when this game came out, it was the subject of a lot of praise. I love this game as well. Understandably so. This game is great. It's not for everyone, but as its own sort of statement, it is great. Actually, when I was playing through this game to record the footage for it, near the end I actually had, you know, those spine-chilling perfect moments you get when you watch a movie or listen to great music or something? Sure. I had that. I was like, ooh, this is so good.
Because I was going to ask you if you enjoyed this game.
Oh, I love it. It's I love soaking in atmosphere games like this. This is why...
I do like the atmosphere.
Yeah. Skyrim, actually, one of my favorite memories of Skyrim is like, I had just gotten the game, I played it for the first time. I didn't go to to Whiterun immediately. Riverrun. To Whiterun immediately. I actually turned left and went into Falkreath first.
Right.
And then did a lot of stuff there before heading to Whiterun. And it was just perfect. It was like, I love it. I love soaking in atmosphere first. Yeah. But this game, a lot of people seem to think, oh, you're just liking this game because it has a lesbian love story in it. It's like,
There's a lesbian love story? Why is this the first I've heard of this?
I'm sorry.
Been here for like 15 minutes.
I think a lot of people are like saying, "Oh, you only praise it because you only praise it because it has that in it." It's like, no, it's a love story. It's not lesbian. It's not straight. It's a love story.
Well, lesbian perked my interest a little bit more.
Oh,
lesbianist.
And to me, that statement is asinine. I really don't like people who say that because it's not a real criticism of anything. It's like saying
So you think people that are lesbian will be offended? Do you think people that are bisexual will be like offended?
No. I think if you take the game as a whole, as its own thing, and you parse out the context of the love story, you'll end up
with just a love story.
Yeah, you'll end up appreciating it for what it is.
Yeah.
I conjecture this. If it wasn't a girl that Sam was in love with, it would just be a straight up love story, and it would still be just as good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right.
How hot are these girls? Sorry, I'm just trying.
It's okay. You see why we love having her on whenever she can.
Asking the important questions.
Yeah, you know, if they're not hot, then it's an important love story. If they're hot, then it's an important lesbian love story.
You know, that does bring up somewhat of a neat little point, actually. It's like, why in stories like this where lesbians are, or just heterosexual couples involved, why are all those people attractive?
Yeah.
And for the most part, people in this medium are pretty attractive. Just no.
But you
seriously,
think
no.
for
Like,
once you'd see 2 ugly gay people or 2 ugly lesbian
yeah.
people.
Or
in a
2 ugly
story.
straight people.
Yeah, you never see ugly anything. Barely.
I have a
Really.
theory. It's related to artistic kind of like you know how in certain paintings the look of the thing, the lines that are involved. You'll understand this a bit, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Composition of the painting. It's like attractive people just naturally have features that add to composition of a lot of things, right?
Right.
That's why some people are described as photogenic because they just have lines that.
I think the whole thing with that is actually symmetrical features.
Yes.
The more symmetrical your features are,
More attractive.
it's biologically assumed that you have better genes. It's just like healthier because disfigurements kind of indicate sicknesses.
It's not
or
even just
diseases
disfigurement.
or
It's
stuff
people
like
that just don't look as.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be disfigurement, but I'm being
It's like a
exaggerative right now. Yeah.
Genetic.
But you know what I mean
That's-
when I'm
well,
saying composition.
I've
frames. And
no,
stuff.
I understand what you're saying, but I've read somewhere that when you see someone's face, before your brain can actually perceive that what it's looking at is a face, it already comes up with preconceived judgments based on very, very basically reptile brain level, like fucking just indications, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why a lot of the times in media, it's just kind of assumed that, the unattractive person is untrustworthy, they're the villain, and blah blah blah, because it's just kind of like it's not only socially ingrained sometimes, of course, but it's also to some extent like it's a judgmental thing that is practically uncontrollable.
It's
like
inherent
biological.
to human psychology right
Yeah.
now. It's not just psychology too. It's the biology too. It's a lot of chemicals going on in the brain.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things.
Does that actually work?
Oh, is that a 3D? I think I can do this real quick. Wait. Ah, fuck. I messed it. Wait.
Wait.
Oh, you just pushed me out of the way. I lost it.
Hey! Oh,
Hey.
that's so cool.
Yeah, they couldn't actually use any actual NES games because of
They
copyright
made them
concerns.
up.
Yeah, so they had to make them up.
Close enough.
Which it was just not something I really understand. I mean, using a single solitary image and claiming copyright off of that
Yeah.
is just it's another asinine thing I hate about modern day.
Adventures the cat.
Doesn't yeah. I just opened the window, so if you hear a train, people, do not despair.
Yeah.
I'm just cooling this room down
Yeah.
real quick.
That's hot in
It's hot in here. Bite
here.
cat.
All this lesbian talk.
Lonnie, that's her name. Lonnie.
Uh-huh.
Lonnie is the love interest of Sam in this game.
Okay.
And she is the gist of her character.
Yeah.
I'm regretting opening that window.
Yep. Should have done
Lots
it.
of trains come by.
Yeah. No.
Okay, fuck you, train.
They only come by once you open the window, so just leave
Yeah.
it closed and they won't come by.
Okay, so the gist of Lonnie's character is that she is training to go into the military, and she's a punk.
Right.
Like, she identifies with the punk, culture.
Uh-huh.
And Sam is coming from a straight-laced, kind of like artistic, liberal-leaning kind of family.
Mm-hmm.
And Lonnie awoke the passions within her,
Right.
so to speak.
Okay.
I sounded like a romance novel, like summary. there.
Yeah.
She woke the passions
I
within
don't know
her.
why it just sounded hilarious.
You can read the backs of some romance novels too. They say stuff like
they
that.
do.
Oh, yeah.
They sound
No,
just
they're
like
much
those,
much
yeah.
worse. Much worse.
And there's some gay ass hunk on the cover.
Some
yeah.
gay ass hunk.
Well, yeah, it's like he's all
Long,
muscled out
flowing
and
hair.
long flowing hair, and
Yeah.
the girl's dressed in lace.
He's a
flowing
unicorn or something
material.
like.
I find the stigma of pornography funny when the vast majority of romance novels that I've seen, at least, have been basically as detailed as
Raunchier.
the worst erotic fiction.
Yeah. Yeah.
I find that funny. But, moving on, this is Sam's room. I want to believe. And I tried zooming in on the textures. You can actually see at this resolution the texture isn't actually that
That
good.
doesn't hold up yet. Well, I mean, like, again, it's one of those things.
Actually, I think I jumped into the options menu to adjust the graphics to try and make that sharper for a second. I actually bumped it all the way up to 1080p. to see if it would improve the texture quality of that. I think it has to do with the texture filtering more than the resolution itself, though. Yeah. So I had to turn that off, the 1080p down to 720p because
frame rate.
Yeah. Otherwise, the whole game would have been a slideshow.
Yeah.
Well then.
So
actually, I had an isotropic filtering on there. I don't know why the texture, because I remember my first playthrough of this. I remember being able to read some of this stuff on there. So I don't know.
On
I don't know.
that poster?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know.
Yeah, me trying to read it from a distance too.
It's not gonna work.
You couldn't read anything on it?
No, I tried, but basically, Jodie Foster on a poster, you understand the sentiment.
Yeah.
She likes women. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I kind of feel like, it shouldn't have to be said, but I feel like it needs to be said regardless. It's like, if your argument is, I don't like this game because it's okay. First of all, taking a step back.
Yep.
If you're accusing someone that they like a game because it's a lesbian love story, that's implying that you don't like the game because it's a lesbian love story. And at that point, if that's your argument, like, I don't know why people can't take a step back and realize what
they're saying
on every level, how much of a bad, it's just poor reasons to not like something.
Here's my ideological stance on that.
It's not really worth arguing.
If the gist of your argument is I don't like the way certain human beings behave in a legal way, it's like you're just an idiot and you're a bigot. Shut up.
Well, not only that, but you can even take it a step further and say a lot of media has characters that you're not supposed to like, but they're the main characters regardless.
Yeah, it's like you only like Breaking Bad because the guy's an anti-hero. It's like, oh, okay, what kind of argument is that?
No, it's really fucking good writing.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with
Okay, well, it's not only that, but I think there's a plague of, I don't know where this came from, but people seem to think that they have to relate to their main character, where that's not really true at all. And it's kind of like, like I said, it's a plague of people saying, I don't like this and that because I didn't, that character's bad because you can't relate to them. It's like, well, not every character's gonna relate to you. The whole point is,
this is us dancing around the issue.
I'm in the middle of a thought here. Just don't. Okay. No, listen.
Okay, we're listening.
Listen. No, this is important. Okay.
Listen.
If you have, writing as an art form is about. It's not about catering to your audience. It's about just showing like a different perspective. It's about. It's about seeing. It's about seeing through someone else's eyes. It's about sympathy, living in someone else's shoes.
Yes.
It's it's probably one of the best forms of information there is.
Yeah, you can't expect all art to conform to your point of view.
Exactly.
Well, to expect that.
That's what I'm saying.
Is to invite disaster.
If you think that every character needs to cater towards you. That's by association basically saying I have a very limited worldview, and if anything challenges it, I get very upset and I pull a hissy fit.
Before you continue, here's an interesting little detail. That Stegosaurus there, you could look at it before and say, what was the name of that teddy bear again? It would actually say that on screen.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you look at it, you interact with it, you look at it.
The tag says Steggy.
And then it says Steggy, and it's like, it's Steggy. It's like, it's a nice little detail. Continue.
Okay, I don't know, literature. Like, one of my favorite books is The Catcher in the Rye, right? And people are like, oh man, I don't like Holden Caulfield because he's a whiny, SOB and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, or The Great Gatsby. Oh, that's a huge one. It's like, oh, I hate all the characters. It's like, yeah, that's the fucking point. That's the whole point of the book, is look how terrible these characters are. And it's a take on, maybe these are things that you don't think about. Maybe this is a different way to look at things because...
Those are the same people who probably identify with Tyler Durden in Fight Club.
I think people don't realize that they are a single person and that there's actually more than one person on the planet and that people live in different ways. And literature is writing, stories, all this shit is a way to kind of vicariously live through that. And, it's not even just about, relating to characters. It goes back to this lesbian thing again, too. It's like, did you know lesbians exist? Cool. Like, it's no more important than the fact that this well, maybe it is, you know, like metaphorically, but you can have like that red bottle. Why was that red bottle red? You could have made that a metaphor. It's like, are you gonna get upset because the bottle was a certain color and that color is a metaphor for something else? Or it's like, are you gonna get upset over something that is completely, you know, unrelated to the plot, which I don't know if the lesbian thing is actually related to the plot or whatever.
It is. It's the whole point of the plot.
Well, let's say it's not, okay?
Okay.
Then you're getting upset over something that's basically just a random grab bag of, you know, features. And people are a random grab bag of features. You know, there are lesbians, there are gays, there are black, white people, there are everything, right?
If you know what I mean.
Yeah. It just happens. So if it's a point that is, you know, if it's pointless to the plot, and they're lesbian, and it's just, okay, well then that's it. That's just who they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it is important to the plot, then it is part of the story you are trying to tell, or it is, you know, a simile or a metaphor or an analyzation of something else. You can take that opportunity to learn something.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're getting upset about that, well, I don't know, it just seems to get, it's just weird to get upset over anything like that.
The counter argument to that I will make, and this is one that I sort of kind of like adhere to or subscribe to, is I believe an artist should still try to make their art as appealing as possible to just a random schmo who would walk in on the street and their art and experience it for the first time, because a lot of the best music, for example, a lot of the best films are films that a mass of people can relate to, not just the person that they're trying to get to relate to. You know what I mean?
Well, counterpoint on that. When you start making assumptions about your audience, you end up getting this whole only every gamer is a 14-year-old boy who wants to look at tits. Like there have been multiple studies that show that, you know, female gamers are almost 50% of the population. Like one of the biggest untapped market audiences right now are middle-aged women.
Yeah.
There's a shitload of gamers that are middle-aged women. You can't just make assumptions. Like,
My mom was a huge gamer.
You can't just say,
oh, this appeals to the widest audience, because A, you don't really know what the widest audience is, and B, you don't know what's immediately going to appeal to, you know, every audience, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Just because something isn't directly marketed towards a single audience doesn't mean it's still not going to resonate with them. And you can't just shove someone out because you just assume that they're, you know, not particularly sniped with this, you know, with your marketing. Like, yeah,
man.
Oh man, whoa, shit, we should have had a brony poster in this game, because if we don't have a brony poster,
it won't resonate
then
with
it won't
bronies.
resonate with. It's like, no, it's bullshit. Like, people aren't only one thing. Like,
It's a good cultural argument, and that, viewers, is how we dance around an issue. Anyways, moving on.
Okay.
So
I don't
the
understand
wife,
where that came from. But...
I do, and any
Okay.
viewers who are paying attention to my Twitter feed will know.
Okay.
Anyways, the wife is cheating on the father with our forest ranger or something. That's another sort of like character building kind of like thing.
Is it just like, it just happens to be a thing?
Well, it kind of like throws the whole hypocritical aspect of these parents into the character development line, like, because the mother is not understanding.
Reference again.
Yeah, the mother is not understanding of why Sam happens to love Lonnie, and she's trying to redirect everything. You know, right. These letters, I couldn't read the friggin' handwriting. I don't know if anyone
cursive.
Can. Yeah. Because cursive is actually going away.
I can read it.
Thank friggin'
apparently
God.
they're not teaching it in school anymore in a lot of places. So.
Because it's
kind of cool.
It just makes it's nice to write with, but at the same time, if you're trying to get someone to understand what you're writing, f off, just print.
I don't know. I have a computer.
Yeah.
I mean,
cursive, when it dies, I will clap.
I think it's a beautiful.
It can be beautiful, but at the same time, I can't read a thing you're saying.
Yeah, a lot of the time.
And this is me. Now, I spent a lot of time on that the first time I played this, so I couldn't understand a word the woman was writing because her cursor was so loopy, and it was just too. It was too much. It was a step too far.
I've never made.
Oh, Walt Whitman, Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad reference.
Was that?
You'll understand it later. The viewers, they're trying.
I thought his name was
Walt Whitman. viewers, they're making their way through Breaking Bad for the first time.
Bacon Bad.
Bacon Bad.
Isn't his name Walter White?
Yeah. That's a reference that will become clear later on. It's not spoiling anything for you. I just want you to keep an eye out for that reference, okay?
Have they ever made a game where there's like a same-sex couple before? Is this the first video game?
No,
there's been other ones.
There's actually Nintendo got into a lot of trouble because they released a game which didn't allow you to
Tamagotchi Life.
Yeah, Tamagotchi Life. Thank you. Yeah, you could create your own characters through your Miis and stuff like that, but they didn't allow the option for same-sex marriages, and a lot of people actually got upset.
Good.
Which is another annoying thing, is just that the vocal dissenting opinion is always so much louder than the satisfied group of people. Yeah, you know, like satisfied people aren't noisy.
Do games though have the responsibility, if they have that option in there, for relationships to be as open and inclusive as possible?
Well, like they put so many other options, like the color of clothing, and they give you so many other options to choose from. Like, why not take it to the next level for people?
Well,
because not everyone that buys your game is gonna be.
Well, here's also the gist of my feelings is I think they have the obligation when there's so much, when their audience is so vocal about having that option.
Ghost milk.
Yeah, if your audience
if
complains
you
and
have
demands it.
Yeah, as soon as your audience demands it, then you do have the obligation. If you then choose to ignore it, then you got a problem.
Awful.
All right, so you would have
for the people, right?
You would have instances like in Mass Effect, you could make the character any race, any shape you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Once they provide that option, they're now, as you say, obligated to provide options like that in the future if they want to make a similar kind of game with a similar kind of like every man saves the universe kind of focus, right?
If there's enough demand for it, to a certain point. If it's a lot of PR.
Thinking human decency, you should.
It's complicated. There's no right or wrong binary kind of like answer to these things. It's a culture thing. We're gonna be working our way through this.
I
understand people getting frustrated with the pace of change, though, right? It's like we've been going through this for hundreds of years.
But okay, well, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Going back to that just for a sec. What if they just? It's not so much this is 2014, we should be ahead of ourselves here. It's just like, well, what if it was just like, you didn't have the option to change like their jacket suddenly? Like you could change their pants, you could change their socks, shoes, there was the option for same-sex marriages and all that shit. But suddenly you couldn't change jackets. It's like, well, why?
I don't want to be identified wearing this jacket.
Wouldn't you get people calling in and just being like...
race or people...
Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't people just be calling in? It's like, guys, I think you missed something.
I can't change my character.
Yeah, again, it goes back to just, like, are these people, like, are they ignoring things, like, just real life? Are they willfully just, like, leaving stuff out? Are they Assassin's Creeding it and actually, like, they say they don't have enough time to put in a female character?
A lot of people were very dismissive of that explanation for maybe good reasons. I don't know too much about the game development process.
Apparently someone who had worked at Ubisoft said bullshit. That's what I heard. I mean, I thought it was a really strange... something really strange to say, because they do have adaptive rigs now. Like they do have, like, it's not that different of a model. Rigs are pretty basic and like they can get kind of complicated, but nothing not like movie rigs. You're not gonna have to have a character specific character rig like that.
I do find it funny that someone did a image or something and it had like 50 different game protagonists and they were all white bearded males, and it was like, okay, I can sort of see somewhat of a point in saying that we need more diversity in the representation of games. At the same time, like you said, how can you presume what your audience will appeal to? So once you already know that if you make a certain factor in a game and you know that it appeals to a wide selection of people, why should companies really be forced to change that unless they...
depends on the story.
What are they forced to change?
It's like I was trying to make a point, but my brain just had a massive fart.
Why are they forced to change from the stereotypical middle-aged white man with a beard?
Yeah, especially for I'm only saying this for established franchises. I mean, Call of Duty is already this big gruff. Oh, we're gonna go kill everybody in the world that doesn't agree with America.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, like an older style dress.
The thing is, the question isn't why change it. The question is why not? Like, what's the point? Why keep this sort of like boring? It's not even that it's offensive. It's just it's like Space Marine syndrome. It's like people got sick of Space Marines. People are getting sick of middle-aged white men. It's like, well, why not just make it costs no much more. It doesn't cost any more money to make your character Latino than it does to make your character white. There's no difference in cost here. Like,
wasn't Ramirez in Modern Warfare 2 Latino?
Probably. I don't know. This sounds like
Ramirez! Save the world!
Yeah.
It'd be funny if they had some guy named Ramirez and he was like white or black or just like had nothing to do with like.
Oh, it's just like Jose, and it's just like this white guy.
I think I would like to make a game and just fuck with people. Like, you know what I mean? Just give guys, girls names, and just mix the races up. And
You could probably make that a profound statement too, if just like all your characters had like ethnic names, but like they were all just middle-aged white.
I think that point was made in the first Metroid.
Was it?
Yeah, Samus.
Oh yeah, Samus. Yeah, well, everyone presumes Samus was a guy the whole time because she was in a fucking like Space Marine robot bounty hunting suit, and then at the end it's just like
everyone's mind.
Whoosh, whips off the helmet and all this.
What I see gaming
was 8-bit. It looked kind of like sexy hair, but
and she was wearing a bikini.
Well, that was only if you got a certain percent.
Oh,
you had to get the good ending. You had to beat the game fast, I think, and then she was wearing the Zero suit. Yeah.
But where I see gaming going is art will still be made directed towards specific like audiences or people that they know certain things appeal to. It's just that in the broader sphere, we should be able to see more diversity in the representation of gaming.
Well, the thing is, there is, it's being proven that there is just as diverse of an audience for games as there is for movies, and movies have a much more sophisticated way of targeting their audiences.
There she goes.
For the most part. I mean, like, you can say, oh yeah, well, what about Michael Bay? And it's like, yeah, well, okay, cool. Like, what about
people like Michael Bay?
What about Quentin Tarantino? That's like, there's no, like, the audience for Quentin Tarantino is people who like Quentin Tarantino movies. Like, he makes his own audiences, and there's not, like, there's still games that make their own audiences. There's cult hits that are also, why are they
and
popular?
with the internet, just this magical thing that disseminates popular culture throughout a pan-global culture, you're always going to have access to shit like that.
Yeah, well, the one last thing. I mean, like, going to cult hit games, I mean, it's kind of like a pattern I see. It's like a lot of cult hit games were either an accident that they got popular, or they weren't really trying to appeal to such a specific like a Call of Duty-esque audience where it's just like 14-year-old adolescent boys or college bros. Like why would you go to like the meeting room and just be like, we want to make a game for college bros? It's like, besides Leisure Suit Larry, like,
I don't think
would you have like BioShock? Like, do you think they started that off as like,
we want to make this to appeal only to white men?
Yeah.
How do we do that?
It's not like they do that. We're just kind of like building a straw man here.
There's a lot of straw man arguments.
But I'm just being ridiculous because it just seems silly. Yeah. The whole video game marketing is silly. So I'm just trying to accentuate that silliness, I guess, by building a bad argument.